specifically for metal?
Hello. We're the Ferguson family. A few years ago, we had a dream of being able to travel with Dad since he travels for work. And now we are making that dream a reality. With 4 kids, 2 dogs, a lizard, and 2 adults, and an abundance of help from Grandma, a lot of trials and trepidation, some blood, some sweat, a lot of sweat, and maybe a few tears, we are finally in motion. We are now inviting you to be a part of our family with KNS Unchained and come with us on our journey with Cutter. Thanks for joining us. Hi, good looking. Teach me something.
So basically how we come about figuring out where we're going to locate this. First thing is we did a full floor plan layout. So we know that from about here to here it's going to be cabinet storage, and then from there down is refrigerator, then bunk beds. Brought it all the way back, found the best location to put this. Now this being that it's 47.5 inches tall, by the time you go inside onto the bus floor, puts it at a nice height for a countertop per se. So to come about figuring out how to make this cut, for me that worked best. So I went inside, measured from the floor up, laid out 47.5, made these 2 relief cuts here. That gave me a benchmark so that I could measure from here down to here and figure out what the distance needs to be. So what you do is go from this point all the way down to your bottom skirt. Your bottom skirt is a true line, so you can use that, come back up, and from there you can start laying out everything else you need, and then use your door frame as another benchmark to get your sidelines. Now we have this set to 37.25 wide by 42.5 tall.
Go.
This is Cutter.
Ah!
That was epic.
Move your butt, please.
I feel cool now.
I feel cool.
Okay, so that part
That is what was screwing us.
where it's,
So yeah,
we gotta grind all that flat.
I got to get rid of all of this.
Have fun, Dad.
Yeah, I got a
That's
lot.
your job.
Oh no.
Yeah, grinding is your thing.
I've had enough grinding for today.
Alright, so here's what we got, is we're working on modifying the doors. Now these doors came off an old ambulance, and we're going to repurpose them, turn them into cargo bins on Cutter. So here's what we're doing. This is the almost full end result of what I'm about to show you how to achieve. Okay, so what you got here, as you can tell, there's no weld here. This is just a bend in the middle, makes the metal a lot stronger. So what you'll do is you'll cut 45-degree angles out, you'll bend the metal over, and then weld it into place using a MIG welder. This is just 16 gauge steel, 1-inch square tubing. It's more than suitable for what we're going to be doing. And for any of you that are interested in learning how to do this, I'm going to show you the process and how to lay this out the proper way. So, what we got over here is the next piece of the puzzle. Alright, as you can tell down here, I've got it laid out for the 45. Okay, so what you do is just simply take your speed square. Alright, you can lay this into place. It gives you a perfect 45. And so everybody knows a 45 plus a 45, it equals a 90. So if you do two opposing 45-degree angles, when you bring them together, you get a perfect 90-degree turn. Okay. Now, in order to know where this needs to occur, you don't want to, first off, you don't ever want to cut clean through. You want to come up just enough for the metal to fall out, and you'll have this little triangle piece that gets removed. Okay. Now, once this cut happens, we'll bend the metal over, and then we'll tack it into place after we verify that it's perfectly square. You'll simply lay your speed square into position, pull the metal to the speed square, and hold it where it makes a perfect 90 degrees. Tack it into place. Do the same down here. Once this one's done, and to somewhat demonstrate, I'll give you guys the rundown. How do I do this? Not be in your way.
I'll send it here.
Okay. Just like so. Now, if you're curious as to how I know where to place that 45-degree cut, it's quite simple. You look at what it is you're trying to make. So for the example, this, I know that I want the overall width to be right at 42.5. Okay? And I know I need that to be in the center. Now the first stick was a full 8-foot stick. So all I did is simply took the stick, measured out the full thing. Right here I have the center mark. Okay? Took 8 feet, divided it in half, that gives you a 4-foot stick. Take this total measurement from here to here, divide that in half, measure from your center line out to your corner, make your line. From your center line out to your next corner, make your line. That'll put it to where your bend will be directly in the middle of your metal, and then from there, you do right here what we showed you. You come to the mark that you would have made right here, and you'll measure out your 45s, cut out your triangle piece, voila. And Bob's your uncle.
And Bob's your uncle. Really? That's how you're gonna finish that? Bob's your uncle.
I couldn't think of anything better.
Alright, we're gonna make a bend, right?
Yep.
We're already
Alright.
notched.
So thanks to my beautiful welding assistant, I will be able to give you guys a demonstration of how this should work in a way that you can repair it if it isn't perfect. So now that we've gotten the 45's been cut out, again, we've removed that. Now I can just simply take the metal and I bend it into position. Now, right here, that one came out pretty close to perfect. But for the sake of example's sake, I'm going to go ahead and set this up. I'll show you a way so if you're off by a little bit. So right here, this joint is not exactly flush. So what I'm going to do is just simply take these and I can pry that up and flush it up a little bit better. Do the same thing down here. I'll just bend this into place like so. And voila. Now I'm going to have to on this one, because I didn't make the cut deep enough here, I'm going to have to come in, pull this back out a little bit, and I'll take the Metabo and wash that metal out a little bit more so that it'll come in and make a full 90-degree turn. But that's essentially what you're trying to do when you're welding square tubing. Yeah.
Back to time lapse.
Yep. And we got the frame in there being ground on right now. So how this is going to go is the angle iron has been added to the square tubing. It'll inset from the inside, and this has been offset from the vertical uprights, so it can be riveted to that frame all the way around, and then I'll be able to build the rest of the box on the inside and then mount the doors.
So the box is being built in place because that's the easy way, easier way than building a box and then sliding it in.
Yeah.
He's so smart.
Okay, so now if you'll notice, what we have here is we have a piece of 1/8 inch angle iron. This is 16 gauge square tubing, 1 inch square tubing, 1 inch angle iron. And what I've done is the same principle. Made a cut here and then bend the angle iron to where it goes around the outer perimeter of your door frame. So this is making the entire frame structure. This part here is what you would mount your door and your hinge system to. This right here is going to be riveted to the outer skin structure of the bus. So later on I'll be putting some sealant back here and we'll get this completely riveted in so it holds nice and tight. And for this door, because what we're doing is an outdoor kitchen, I haven't built a metal frame for the inside. We're going to build it out of wood so we can insulate and make it look nice, because we'd like to have a nice woodworking interior and exterior, because out here this will become kind of like a faux cabinet later. But to give you an idea how I built the door frame, this is what you're looking at. And you'll notice I just do stitch welds on the angle iron. More than sufficient to do. You got stitch welding here and here, and then same thing on the other side. Now the side that is attached to the sheet metal did get ground back down flush, so you want to make sure you got a good solid weld. Otherwise, so you can have right in here where it's nice and flat. That's what you're looking for. In this one, you can see right here is a good example of imperfection. So what that is I did not have good penetration, and when you grind your weld, if you see this and too many locations, you really need to grind it down and get it again and burn in a little bit deeper. So you want to slow down and burn a little bit hotter in that location. That way you make sure you're getting good penetration. That was a bad weld on my part. And then you can see down here kind of how I made the latches. Now it just depends on the type of door that you guys decide you want to try and use. And the other box that we're currently working on will be located more to the rear back here, and that'll be for the generator box. And I'll show you the outside of that. Okay, so what we're looking at here is going to be the location of the frame we're currently working on. And you can see where I've already got the layout has been done, and I'll draw a line all the way so I can make sure that I'm getting a good straight cut. You want to make sure that you keep this as straight as possible. I know a lot of people, you guys have talked about buses. It's very hard to get everything square, keep everything straight, and trust me, I agree. Finding anything for a benchmark or a point of reference is on the brink of impossible on this thing. One of the things that I did for the way I'm doing this is I basically ran a straight edge off the back end of the bus, because I know that this is about as close as I'm going to get to square. And for what we're doing, if you're within a 1/16, you're good. But if you can put a straight edge across here coming out, you can use that to kind of give you a benchmark. And then from there, that's your datum point, and you can build everything off of that. And that gives you a good starting location. And that's how I was able to get this bus door, or this cargo door, cut in and drawn in to where it'll actually come in nice and square where it needs to be. But while you're doing this, you want to also take into consideration, you know, where your holding tank placements are going to be. And as you can tell, this box is going to come down below the floor, so I'm going to be cutting out a portion of the floor. And when I do that, it is going to hinder the bus's structural integrity. So what I'm going to have to do to make up for that is I will build this entire frame structure out of 1-inch steel tubing, and I will weld it into the floor joists all the way around, and I will have kickers in place, along with having a vertical upright on the back section to make a solid steel box. So in essence, what I'm doing is taking the wall support section from this location, and I'm just going to push it inward is all I'm doing. And I will still have the same structural integrity I have here that I had when the wall was here, with it pushed back. This is the best way I can think to explain what I'm doing, if you could kind of visualize that. Later on, the next cut will be made above floor level over here. This cut is going to be the location of a mini split I've ordered in. I'm going to use like a piano hinge up here. I've got the door latches, and I'm going to use some of that foam and build an insulated wall section here. And I'll be using the original bus's side to make the door for the mini split. I'm gonna have to cut out a small section of this for a expanded metal vent so that the mini split has somewhere to breathe and get good airflow. All right, so there's your walkthrough on what we're going to be doing, and now we'll get you set up and I'll start setting up this frame, and hopefully this all comes out good.
My dad's grinding right now. My dad is doing grinding. My dad just finished grinding. Just and then you take out windows. My mom's taking out windows right now. Daddy, what are you doing? What you doing?
Alright, so Kyle is welding up what will be our generator box. It's a little bit bigger than what we actually need for the generator, but that's okay because we're going to put an additional storage area above it for tools and weed eater, you know, all that fun stuff. Gunner and I have been working on the driver's side delete. So he's been outside drilling and running the rivet gun. I've been inside applying pressure and letting him know that his rivets are good before he puts them in. And we've got first section done. Still need to do this back section, and then all that will be left on the deletes will be this very back window once we finish with that block.
No, it's not supposed to. If I want to video them. My dad just finished drilling. You can see it. My dad is right now screwing holes.
Yes.
He's screwing holes in the bus so he can put screws. Sorry if I'm like.
Find me that case of rivets. These are smaller.
Mm-hmm. Okay. They're
So hand me that box of rivets. So
Open the windows that we're not getting rid of.
that's a good idea. And just pull all the ones we are out.
Want to take them out?
Might as well.
Okay.
It's easier to knock the rivets out when we get to that point. Alright, so quick kind of go over what we're going to be doing today. We'll be working on the window delete down one side. At the same time, I'll be inside here working on building out the rest of this box. So what you're looking at here, go ahead and look inside. Later on, this right here is about where the generator will sit, and if measurements are correct, that'll leave enough room up top that this is going to become an insulated storage box, mainly for spare parts and extras that the bus might need us to carry. All right.
What'd you do with the
Pause it.
screwdriver?
how?
Think it counts? Think it's sturdy enough for a generator?
Yeah.
The one was heavy? Oh, how dare you! So we have installed our fill spot and our 30 amp plug, or no, 50 amp plug. My apologies. They're cleaning up messes right now so that we can move on to the next step. So that's getting cleaned out. And we have also installed our outdoor shower and an outdoor AC plug. Right, shower. Always remember to live your life unchained. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We hope to have you with us next week. Thank you for joining our KNS Unchained family. See you on the next leg of our journey. Bye.